Many skeptics, and especially Jesus mythers, say that Jesus was a copy of Adonis. If you know Jesus' story, you'll start to see some similarities. Adonis was apparently resurrected from the dead. Keep in mind that this is the only link that is alleged between Adonis and Jesus. But they are then both lumped into the group of dying and rising gods, and Jesus is therefore believed to be some kind of myth made up of all these gods. This is ridiculous. Adonis is the Greek form of Tammuz, so see that video if you haven't already. But neither of these are close to Jesus. Adonis is not described in a resurrection like Jesus was. J.Z. Smith writes, "Despite the original Semitic provenance of Adonis, there is no native mythology. What is known depends on later Greek, Roman, and Christian interpretations. What we know of Adonis is seen through secondary sources, some of them Christian. It's not unreasonable to find links between the two if viewing Adonis' story through those Christian sources, but there still isn't much." Here's another really important quote from Smith. "This pattern will recur for many of the figures considered. An indigenous mythology and ritual focusing on the deity's death and rituals of lamentation, followed by a later Christian report adding the element nowhere found in the earlier native sources that the god was resurrected." Smith is writing that the association with Adonis, other gods, and resurrection may come from Christian interpretations of pagan rituals, all well after the time of Jesus. If this is the case, then these arguments for Jesus' mythicism are worth nothing. This is also considered by Tryggve Medinger in his book Riddle of Resurrection. In chapter 4, he resists making a conclusive argument, but writes that there is no evidence of a pre-Roman resurrected Adonis. The evidence of this motif comes from later sources like Lucian's The Syrian Goddess. When they have finished their mourning and wailing, they sacrifice in the first place to Adonis, as to one who has departed this life. After this, they allege that he is alive again and exhibit his effigy to the sky. After looking at the evidence behind these claims, it's clear that there's no real link between the accounts of Adonis and Jesus. Therefore, it's clear that Jesus is not a copy of Adonis.